Hi, I'm KMJ. I'm gonna review and analyze Michael Jackson's two Billie Jean performances at Madison Square Garden in New York City. So yes, these shows took place in America. The shows took place on September 7th and 10th in 2001 and were a celebration of Michael's 30th year of being a solo entertainer and were not part of any tour. The tickets for these shows sold out in only 2 hours despite the tickets were so fucking expensive. The price for the most expensive seats cost a whooping $10,000 fucking dollars.
God! For the love of God! Please! Damn!
And included a dinner with Michael and a signed poster. That's crazy. Me personally though, I would just have hit up Mackie D's on the way home. I don't have no interest in seeing this man eat. What are we gonna talk about? Taxes? The American system? Maybe why you should like this video? That you should subscribe? Maybe? A mixed version of the two shows was aired in November of the same year on television. Now with that basic info out of the way, in this video I'm gonna analyze the aired mix of Billie Jean as both shows' performances were mixed into it, so I'm gonna do this differently than I usually do. I'm going to review and analyze the September 7th show and September 10th show individually. Then after I will analyze which parts of each performance is shown in the aired mix. And I'm going to do that by telling you what I like and what I don't like by splitting my review into multiple categories, which are movement, which is dancing, gestures and facial expressions, vocals, energy/attitude, instrumentation and sound mix, MJ's look, which is makeup and hairstyle, as well as any unique occurrence regarding his look at these specific shows, cinematography, the groove, vibe, whatever you want to call it, and finally a ranking from 1 to 10 alongside my little thoughts. Let's get to it. Alright, starting off with September 7th. Movement. It's important to mention that Michael's high here. I can't remember on what though, but he's definitely high on something, and that is very visible through his sluggish movement. But that doesn't mean this is a bad performance by MJ standards, not at all, because it certainly isn't. The way Michael performs the song here is actually quite reminiscent of how he performed it during the History Tour back in 1996 and 1997. However, there are some very unique things about this performance, both good and bad. The most notable thing being the breakdown. There is no moonwalk there, and there has always been a moonwalk during the breakdown, no matter the tour or show. It's like this version is a mix of the 1999 version and the classic version. Michael only kicks one time and then spins. Then instead of doing the standing moonwalk followed by the moonwalk, he instead opts to go for a side glide, which is a fresh take on the breakdown, considering he usually does a side glide in the breakdown after he did the moonwalk. He actually also does the side glide in the beginning of the song, which is actually an extremely cool addition. He also does this interesting move, which I'd say is kinda robotic, where he moves his upper body to one side while squatting, and then to the other side in a zigzag motion. You know what? That's what I'm gonna call this move, the zigzag. The next unique thing he does is some popping, almost in the style of the Dangerous Tour, frequently seen done in Jam and When We Started Something performances. Then he ends the song. Let's sit back and take a look at the main presentation of the song here. There's this really cool combo he does at the Remember to Always Think Twice section, which is definitely one of my favorite executions of this section of all time. Other small things to note would be at the end of both pre-choruses, Michael, when about to swing his head back, put his hand down to around his waist, which I really love. At the first chorus, this is followed by the heel tap, while using his left arm instead of his right arm to do that snapping motion. He uses his right arm in the second chorus. Really, the rest of the performance is quite similar to the History Tour rendition of the song. Also, he does the ankle breaker, the move from the Rock With You music video. but with an alternative ending to the move where he kind of swings his feet to each side, though hard to see because of the camera angle shown here. Now onto some things that I don't like. As I said, Michael is quite sluggish here because he's high, and this actually causes him to fuck up some of his moves. Like here, doing the bridge to the pre-chorus, he does a very poor execution of the leg flick. And during the pre-chorus, he also doesn't quite stick the exit of the spin, and has to readjust himself into this move, which I still think it looks really cool though. He also does a poor spin here during the chorus, though hard to see from the angle, even in the pro shot because it's shown from a far away shot. Now the absolute biggest issue with this performance, the moonwalk section. He changes up the he-who section, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the rest of the choreography here, it seems like he just forgets. He then moonwalks, but only for a very brief time, and the moonwalk itself isn't that good either because he's on the hard black rubber, or whatever the fuck that material is, I do not know. On the stage, which isn't made for him to actually dance on, so he's having a tough time gliding. No spin, no toe stand or nothing. This sucks. The following section kind of does too, as the playback is turning off very late, and he has to lip sync to vocals he usually doesn't do, so instead of doing an epic run up to an ow here like this, he instead just stands and seemingly sings and turns back to the signal he wants his mic on. When it does get turned on, there seems to be a weird feedback effect that makes him sound worse than he actually does, because he does in fact sound quite good, but we'll get to that at the vocals section. After singing, he looks around as if he's super confused. It's actually quite funny. He then does this really cool move, which looks to be a similar move, or maybe an evolved move, or an evolved version of the move that he did during the History Tour, mostly during 1997. I'll show it here. You can see the similarity, but this just looks like an evolved version of that. Also, just throughout the majority of this performance, Michael just seems so dead in the eyes, with the exception being here, which does look pretty cool. He also does this open mouth expression a lot, as if he has something between his teeth he's trying to get out. This is a phase I've seen a lot of high people do, myself included. Movement gets a 6 out of 10 because there's a lot of cool unique movement, but also a lot of sloppy and poorly executed movement. Vocals. Michael doesn't sing a lot here, but what he does sing actually sounds quite good, except for his first live line, as there's some weird mic feedback, but if you listen closely to just his voice, he sounds okay. When he sings the ad-libs, he does it in a very aggressive manner, accompanied by aggressive head movement too. I'm unsure what exactly he sings it then, but what I hear is, "You made me go too far." which I'm unsure is actually what he's singing, but it's what I hear. And I find it to be a cool lyric to combine with the fact that he's high. Right now, as if the girl Billie Jean made him do those drugs, which is him going too far. Or maybe he got high and then did what caused him to go too far by doing something. I don't know. That's just a little theory. A game theory.
Oh, god damn it, bitch, why?
He does this really weird sound after. I don't know what to think of that. Probably just trying to say like, whoo, but kind of did it, oh. I don't know. Vocals get a 4 out of 10. Energy/attitude. He's not very energetic at all, but as I said, he still dances a lot. And his attitude is like, I don't know, I mean, he's just high, like, he seems confused, out of it, as if he's not really there. Some people say this performance is his rehearsal for the second show, and that kinda says a lot on its own. Energy/attitude gets a 2 out of 10. Why the fuck did I say it like that? Instrumentation and sound mix. I fucking love the instrumentation here. Everything sounds so damn powerful. I just have no complaints whatsoever here. This is just perfect. 10 out of 10. That's it. Jesus fucking Christ. MJ's look. Well, Michael's rocking a middle split here. He's just like me, for real. And I actually quite like this style. It's very different from the usual MJ look, which is the long, curly hair with a bun or ponytail and all that jazz. Nah, this is just a little messy, straight-haired middle split. Makeup is my problem here, but like, that goes for his entire look for the 2000s. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it looks bad, no, just not really my favorite look of his, I guess. Now, I of course also have to talk about his outfit. I love it. It's like a combination of all the previous variations of the Billie Jean outfit. So, let's go top to bottom. His jacket is the same sequin jacket he used at the MJ and Friends shows in 1999 with the white armband. The jacket looks a little smaller on him here than it did in 1999 because he's a bit bigger here than in 1999, where he was quite thin. He's wearing the usual V-neck t-shirt as he's basically always done on tour, exceptions being the Victory Tour and Bad Tour 1988. He has the glove in his right hand as he did during the Victory Tour, Bad Tour, Dangerous Tour and the majority of the 1996 leg of the History Tour, though during the later part of that leg he swapped it for the glove on his left hand. Like during December or late November, we don't have footage of when he switched it. He's also wearing the gold star belt thing, which he wore on the 1988 leg of the Bad Tour, which looks really fucking good on this outfit. He's also wearing the holographic silver striped pants as he did during the Dangerous Tour. The only difference here is that it's a tighter fit and the stripe is thinner. The socks he's wearing are the same as the ones he wore during late 1997. The shoes are his classic Florsheim Comos, which is basically always what he used for dancing. I love this look because, as I said, it's like a combination of all the previous live versions of Billie Jean's outfit. It looks so good. 8 out of 10 because I wish the socks were as wide as the June 1997 ones and that the jacket looked bigger on him. But else, I really like this outfit. Cinematography. Well, it's amateur shot and we have a lot of different angles, so like you can make your own cinematography here. Though the pro shot actually has some really nice shots. My only complaint being the moonwalk angle as it's seen from the ground up, which ruins the move a bit. But I think that's because they couldn't have a proper angle because Michael was just too close to the camera, maybe. Because he was really close to the edge of the stage, so that makes sense. But we have so many different sources from this, like 5 or 6 or something. So you can just make your own video if you want, like your own video mix. And a lot of people have done that already, so it's a 10 out of 10 because you can make your own. So, and that goes for September 10th too. So this will repeat itself. It's a 10 out of 10 here. And it will be there. Groove or vibe or, well, it means my enjoyment. That's what I'm trying to say here. I've always really liked this performance because it's similar to the History Tour, but also really different. Also, I used to gravitate towards this performance when I myself was high because Michael's high as well. I don't know, it kind of gave me a groovy feeling, you know, kind of like, oh, I'm getting into his state of mind and the state of mind as he had when he performed. Something like that. Also, the highest quality audio recording of this show is fantastic because not only is the concert audio clear, but the crowd is so enthusiastic. It's so enjoyable. 10 out of 10. I fucking love it. And now, the overall score. The overall rating is 7.1 out of 10. I really like a lot of things from this, even if he's sluggish. I'm also the type of person that really likes the Vienna 1997 Billie Jean, so that kinda says a lot on its own. I like when Michael's a little out of it, because he always then does some unique stuff, you know, like some funny or interesting moments happen, or some really cool movement happens, stuff like that. So yeah, September 7th gets a 7.1 out of 10. And now let's move on now to the Billie Jean performance on September 10th. Movement. He starts off in the Billie Jean pose, but with the hat on, which seems like a mistake, as he takes it off and bends down, puts his hand to his head almost like a facepalm. Though he is smiling while doing this, so it could have been intentional. Either way, it actually looks really good. This performance is like a really late 1997 show, but with more energized movement. He's not actually dancing much during the main part of the song, and that's because he's actually singing over the playback. But what dancing he doesn't do during the main song, he makes up for in the breakdown, as he does the traditional breakdown this time, with the standing moonwalk and the moonwalk followed after, as well as the beatbox. I really like that. He does the moonwalk section probably too, this time with the triple spin and a fire toe stand. Cool thing he does too is he puts his hand on his hat instead of his crotch when doing the thrust scene during the intro and breakdown. On the breakdown he's holding both his head and crotch at the same time. A cool change. But I, however, still think this performance is not as visually appealing as September 7th is to me, because of the lack of dancing. However, still the dancing he does do has such a superb execution. 5 out of 10, because the breakdown helps it a lot, but the rest is kinda lacking. Vocals. Extremely rare thing here, Michael sings over the playback throughout the performance until the playback is cut, and he sounds fantastic. So this also makes up for the fact he isn't dancing as much. However, this is not audible in the Pro Mix at all, because they muted his microphone until after the moonwalk, which sucks. Anyways, there's extremely strong and unique ad-libs, especially compared to the first night. He could totally have sung the song fully live, but what he did is still good enough. He enters the breakdown while shouting into the mic, which I've always thought was a really cool touch, though it causes him to hold the microphone throughout the whole breakdown. He also did the beatbox at the end, though here it peaks the mic or something, as it makes some weird noise. But like, that noise isn't made by Michael, because you can hear him doing the you can hear him doing that, the beatbox there, but that's what's causing the noise to happen. So he isn't making the noise, but he's causing the noise to happen. It's weird, but I still really appreciated the beatbox here. It sounds really good. 10 out of 10. Energy/attitude. He definitely has more energy and enthusiasm here than he did during the September 7th show. That's very visible just during his ad-libs alone. He is clearly focused and trying to make up for his sluggish performance previously, because again, his movement is very sharp and precise here. 7 out of 10. Instrumentation and sound mix. Well, this is basically identical to the first night, except we have a pro mix now, which has way too much crowd audio that ruins my enjoyment so much, I can't lie. Because the instrumental is almost drowning in crowd noise. This is okay in an amateur recording because it's a goddamn amateur recording, but unenjoyable, really unenjoyable in a pro mix in my opinion. Also, they muted his mic in the pro mix so you can't hear his live vocals, which is really an L move for me, though it makes total sense if you think of it from a different perspective. If this is someone's first impression of Michael, then they would not assume that it's playback and they would assume he's singing live. So if you could hear both the playback and Michael's live vocals, then you would instantly know, okay, he's singing live over playback. But the new fans or just someone watching him live for the first time on YouTube or some shit, they won't know it's playback, but they would if you can hear his live vocals over the playback. You know what I mean? It's only us hardcore fans that know that it's playback. It makes sense that this is the decision they went with. I understand it, but that doesn't change that it sucks for me. A 7 out of 10 because of the crowd noise. MJ's look. Well, this is the exact same as the previous night, except his hair is more messy here, which is ironic as his performance is much cleaner here. Kinda fun to think about, really. I like both nights equally, it's just, it's the same. So like, 8 out of 10. Cinematography. Again, this is the exact same as September 7th. Except we have more of this in Pro, and the shots selected are really good in my opinion. And as such you don't like, you can just replace with any of the amateur recordings, because again, we have so many of them. 10 out of 10. Go do your own mix, bro. Vibe / my enjoyment. The live vocals over playback really has me loving this performance a lot. Though again, visually it doesn't have much going for it. So like, it's a 5 out of 10. And now for the overall score. The overall rating is 7.4 out of 10, which is, you know, like slightly higher than September 7th rating. From an average MJ fan or an ordinary concert enjoyer, this is the better performance of the two nights, no doubt. But I still like September 7th more because it appeals so much more to me visually. But this performance is better than that night, even though I like the other night better. Now let's talk about the TV mix. So with all the footage here, you'd think they'd make a mix featuring the best of both nights to make Michael seem as good as possible. Right? No, you're fucking wrong, because the majority of the mix is September 10th, with a few moments from September 7th sprinkled throughout. But then the breakdown is then basically just September 7th, which is cool because it's unique. Though they for some reason did not include the standing moonwalk as well as the moonwalk from the September 10th performance during the breakdown. Like, why? That's really stupid in my opinion. It would make the mix so much better. It's also obvious the breakdown is a mix of both nights, as the microphone disappears from his hand on multiple occasions. Because they switch between both nights, but that doesn't matter much, it's just worth mentioning. Also, keeping the mix mainly September 10th is also a foolish decision. They could have shown so much more dancing that wasn't too sloppy, such as the entire section from the 4th Who Will Dance segment until the combo during the Remember to Always Think Twice section. And include that, as he does really cool moves there compared to on September 10th, where he just knee taps, or bent his knees that he's been doing 30 times already and will do yet another 30 times for the rest of the performance. In fact, let's count how many times he does it on September 10th. 16 times. 16 fucking times does he do the same exact thing. And he does it 14 times in the pro mix. Well, basically 16 times too, but they just cut out 2 of the 3 times he did it like in this succession, like right here. What the fuck? Yeah, that'll surely be fascinating on my second rewatch of the performance. They should have included the heel tap doing both choruses from September 7th, but they instead show September 10th. But then not really, because they cut to a crowd shot when he was actually doing a cool move during that moment. What is the point of that? And they should have included the ankle breaker. Like, look, I'll compare all 3 moments and you tell me what is more entertaining and or makes the performance better. These 3 things would add so much to the pro mix of this performance. Because compared to pro mix to, let's say, a history tour performance that isn't super late from the tour, this performance seems pretty lackluster compared to that. Why the fuck would you show him bending over 14 fucking times instead of him doing something different and better looking? Like, what? There's really no reason for them to have cut these, objectively speaking, better parts from the September 7th show. These are better, and there is nothing you can say that'll change my mind because it is factually better than him just standing there or bending over. Okay? On September 10th, he's just standing and lip singing or bending down and lip singing. Why the fuck would you use that footage and not the footage where he shows his dancing abilities, which make the performance so much more impressive? It actually kind of pisses me off that they made this decision. I hope they had a good reason for it, even though I highly doubt it. Anyways, a little thing that they actually also did is they shortened the performance too by cutting a section of Michael walking around the stage, which is fine to remove, that's totally fine. But they also removed the beatbox, which I won't forgive, even if it peaked the mic, as I told you before. They also used so many fucking crowd shots. Like, a few I don't mind, but not like every other cut. Holy fucking shit, what the fuck? Why? There's almost as much footage of the crowd as there is of Michael. Okay, maybe not, but there's too much, okay? Too much. Lord almighty. However, let's end this section on a good note. The intro of the mix is actually really good, as they show the best part of each night here, even though that's mainly September 7th, but still. They even included the sideline at the start, which I'm so thankful that they did. Also, this part right here is chosen correctly. Definitely a highlight of the 2 performances, no doubt. Muy bien. Now, originally, I was gonna show what parts are used from what night in the video mix, but someone else has already done that like 6 years ago. So instead, I'll put a link to his video in the description as well as in pinned comment, so you can see this TV mix analysis made by this guy instead of me doing it. That's easier for me and, well, better for him, because now you can go and give him a view or something. Also, it's very well made, so you should definitely watch that. As I said, link in the description and the pinned comment too. Anyways, now on to the encore. Here's a fact, a really stupid fact. They blurred his cheeks. Now, I know that sounds really fucking weird out of context, okay? So hear me out here. Look at these 2 images. The left image is how he looked at the show. The right image is how he looks in the aired mix. Look at his cheeks. I gotta stop saying that. They blurred them. They blurred his fucking cheeks. They did this for the Munich 1997 broadcast as well, and I think it's the biggest waste of time done by the editors. If it's done to make Michael look better, well, it doesn't. It, in my opinion, makes him look worse, as now he looks like he's fake or unreal or some shit. But in the left image, when you can see his normal face and his definitions of his face, you know, he's actually a human with a jawline and cheeks and cheekbones instead of just being flat like a doll. Like, he looks human and not a doll like he does in the right image. Oh, and another thing. Now, I don't know if this is confirmed or just a rumor, but Michael was actually supposed to have a meeting at the Twin Towers the day after the last show. meaning he'd be in one of the towers on September 11th, aka 9/11, the devastating tragedy of 2001. But because he was so tired after this show, he overslept, luckily. Again, I don't know if this is confirmed or just a rumor, but I felt it was worth putting in here. Alright, well, we've reached the end of this mega video. All my other reviews of this song can be seen compared to these two performances on screen right now, and they will all be linked below in the description in case you want to watch them too. Now, I really enjoyed making a longer video. I like watching long videos myself. Like, I really just like diving into a video and just spending 20 minutes to an hour, even 3 hours, even just watching a video. So I wanted to make a longer video myself here, and I actually like doing it. So now I want to hear your thoughts on the performances, both of them. Which is your favorite? Which you like more? Which, well, what do you think of the pro mix? Like, do you think it's mixed properly? Do you think it's mixed like shit like I do? Either way, just tell me in the comments below. I would love to read them all. I would love to spark a conversation with you guys. I really would. But anyways, thank you so much for sticking through this long ass video, and I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, I enjoyed making it. Subscribe to my channel for more Michael Jackson videos like this, where I deep dive into videos and review them and analyze them. I will keep doing this as long as I can, because I enjoy making it. So thank you again, and I hope I'll see you in one of my other videos. Bye.